or its sister lab in Los Alamos. So being here today and saying no to nuclear weapons is doing it in the brain, in the heartland, at the center of the complex. And, you know, we're here to foreclose on the bomb as well. Millions of Americans across the country are losing their houses, and there's little support from the government. But what there is support for is nuclear weapons. Over the next, you know, the government is scheduled to spend $180 billion over the next decade, $180 billion to complex new facilities and modify and replace every nuclear weapon in today's arsenal. And you know, one of the programs they have is called life extension programs, and I think it's really ironic that there's universal health care for our nuclear bombs, but many of us here, right now, here together, don't even have access to health care. So we're here today to demand that our humanity speaks louder than our quest for warfare. And we're also here today to remember all those who have died, who have lost loved ones, who have been injured. You know, there was the actual bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and all those people who have died, and it's an honor to have that living memory with us and have Takashi speak and bring that to us. But there's hundreds and thousands of other voices who aren't heard, from the mining to the designing to the testing to the actual use of nuclear weapons. And we're gathered here today in Livermore because over 1 million curies of airborne radiation have been released from this facility. Now that's roughly equivalent to the amount that was deposited in the U.S. atomic bombing of Hiroshima. But it's a totally different beast because it's constantly coming out in low-dose radiation, and people are constantly, you know, our bodies are being attacked by that. And the National Academy of Science released a report on ionizing radiation and found that there is no safe dose. Any amount of radiation can cause biological damage. And in their most recent report, what to me as a mother really stood out was that the most vulnerable population is our little girls, our infants. And if you have an adult male and he's exposed to radiation, an infant, a little boy at the same age with the same dose, is 3 to 4 times more likely to get cancer from that same exposure. Now our little girls, our infants, are twice as likely than the little boys to get cancer from that same exposure. And so as a mother of 2 small children, no amount is safe, and I don't want any exposure coming out for the people of Livermore, for our community, and everybody. It's time to say no to nuclear weapons and all the exposure and radiation and all the lives that are cut short. And here in Livermore, there's a lot we don't know about the effects. There was one study that found that children born in Livermore are actually 7 times more likely to develop malignant melanoma than other children born in Alameda County. We do know one thing. We know that Livermore Lab is one of the top employers for nuclear weapons in Alameda County. So we know that there's a lot of money being pumped into there, and we do also know that some of the employees do pay for their work, and they pay with it for their life. There are over 1,600 former and current Livermore Lab employees who have filed for compensation for on-the-job illnesses, for their exposures, and have actually developed terminal illnesses, and many have also died from their exposure for their work at Livermore Lab. And so we are here today to speak up for all those people on the inside of the lab and on the outside who are constantly being exposed to radiation. And we're here today to also hold President Obama accountable. He's requested the largest nuclear weapons budget in U.S. history. The largest, like beyond Bush, right? And we remember Bush, right? We were out here with his robust nuclear earth penetrator, and we're like, say what? You know, and there was over 1,000 people out there then. But tides are shifting, you know, and so it's a little more quiet now, but money talks louder than anything else. And President Obama is spending more on nuclear weapons than any president in U.S. history, and that's even if you adjust it for inflation, more than was spent in the Cold War. And Livermore's lab's budget is over $1 billion. It's $1.1 billion, and 88% of it goes directly to nuclear weapons activities. And so we're here today because there's a lot of smart people on the other side of that fence that mean well, but we're here to remind them that there is no consensus for nuclear weapons, not in Livermore. Even though the city seal has the symbol of the atomic bomb on it, as long as we are here, there is not a consensus. And, you know, nuclear weapons will one day be abolished. That's right. And we're part of that beginning. You know, we're sowing those seeds, and like radiation, maybe you can't see that, but we all can feel it. And we know that we may not see that vision, but it is happening. And through the fruits of our labors, we are building not only a hope, but a reality. And we are here today because in the end, all of us know and believe that the dignity of life is stronger than the technology that is created to destroy it. So thank you for coming out here.